Hello, a warm welcome to CREST.BD's Bipolar Wellness Center webinar series. This webinar will provide you with a summary of current research evidence on the relationship between money and quality of life, as well as pointing you to some tools and resources to help you manage your finances.
Hi, my name is Samson. I am based in Hong Kong now. I have been working in New Zealand for over 20 years. And during that time, it was a complete privilege for me to join the CREST Bipolar Research Group. And now I'd love to share something with you about managing money. What we'll cover is to define finances, money and bipolar disorder. And we really believe financial matters a lot to our quality of life, and then to conclude by suggesting some ways we can have a good handle on the matter. Well, talking about finance is essentially about how we manage and also handle money. Well, in this case, it's not only notes and coins, it's often about how we manage money electronically, the so-called e-banking. Well, in this case, we are talking about how to manage the bills, paying on time, budget for essential items, maintaining our standard living, handle credit card, mortgage loans, and importantly, you and I are able to keep track on our savings. For some people, not only saving, but also for their retirement. Well, the sort of extras are also important. Maybe a dental bill, maybe extras for goodies. For example, preparing a gift or present for a happy occasion. So finances, in this case, we all try to have a good handle on our money. Money and bipolar disorder, we have not known a lot about these topics, but as far as we know, there are some important trends we are seeing. Financial problem is related to the episodes often exacerbate or related to problem gambling more than we intend, gambling more than we can afford. And for some people, unfortunately, maybe we spend excessively on items we don't necessarily need. For other people, when we are really down or depressed, we are so overwhelmed by different things, we just fail to keep track of the bills we have to pay, the mortgage, and when all those things act together, not a good sign for people with bipolar disorder. And but I think it is worth mentioning, some people may experience financial benefits associated with episodes. Well, some individuals, they actually have the experience of being able to think outside the box, very creative, come up with innovative solutions. In situations like this, we may earn extra money, we may earn big money, in fact, and that just improves the financial situation. So in some situations, we are seeing people experiencing that as well. Moving on, this is a very important question. Well, who cares? I mean, why are financial matters so important to quality of life? In fact, being able to manage money is a very essential skill. Doesn't matter whether we have bipolar or otherwise. And it's an interesting thought, because when you think about it, it also suggests we need to learn money management skills from young. But knowing bipolar disorder may occur at young age, I think we have to realize some people may not have learned the money management skill from young age, so the problems may accumulate. Well, financial problems can be a warning sign, meaning I spend so much, meaning I'm so behind with the money bill. It may be the early warning signal. And of course, we understand financial stress is the last thing we want, the last thing we need while we are trying to manage our mood, trying to manage our emotion. Well, the following couple of slides, we will switch quickly to, well, after all, what we can do, how you can take action to stay on top of the situation. The very important principle we say here is the best time to protect yourself from bipolar symptom-related thing is try to handle that when you are feeling stable, when you are well. And one way is to limit your risk of unwise or impulsive spending, set the dollar limits on withdrawal from your debit card, lower your credit card limits, and also maybe to get someone you really can trust, someone you really feel comfortable, very comfortable, I should say, working with, to be the co-signer of your major cash withdrawals. Hey guys, look, I'm a professor. I'm earning okay. My way of managing my finance is I have a separate account for my day-to-day spending, and I only put that much money there. And when I know how much I spend, how much left, I know how far I can go. So that is my easy 101 way of managing my finance. And then my co-signer in this case is my wife. Very important. Well, how you can take action? The other thing is to develop your overall money plan, have some sense of all the regular essential items. So you and I have a clear picture what are those regular items. Use apps, online tracking programs to help you. Don't be afraid from those technology. They are basically pretty friendly. And also, if you do go to a bank, I'm sure people would love to help you. I mean, the bottom line is to save their time because you can manage the tracking, the money methods yourself. And this slide is very much about working with a support person that you feel you can trust. Consider involving individuals from your social support network or a healthcare provider to help with money management. Take your time, get to know people. If you have a person in mind, double check with your family if applicable. Get some opinion. Don't rush to make this decision. Who may be the support person sort of supporting you to manage finance? Identify your best financial supporters. Healthcare providers may be able to step in, especially when episodes are just beginning to prevent financial disaster. Trust support, maybe your partner, close friend, sibling, or peer support worker. Again, my strong feel is this person is going to be an important person. You need to place a lot of trust. You need to feel comfortable. And also, after all, we have to realize this person does have some control on the important aspect of our life, which is about money. So you take your time to find out the person and to work with that person. The other thing is, of course, being proactive, meaning, again, having some ideas about your spending, having clear plan when your mood is not in a good shape, how that will be managed, and identify your best financial supporters. In this case, work through your early warning signs. Common warning signs may be not eating well. Common warning signs may be doing a lot of things. Timetable looks very full. And in fact, the increasing spending itself may be a warning sign. Know your personal triggers, be it people relationship problems, be it workload, be it children issues. For example, people have different personal triggers for impulsive or unwise spending. My sort of observation and research and clinical work suggests often stress is a very common trigger, stress of any kind. So yeah, watch out for that one. And also have an emergency plan in place. When things go wrong, who can come to help, who may come and look after or even take over the financial situation for a period of time, how the co-signing will be done, etc., etc. So emergency plan, looking after money, looking after yourself, and maybe even someone under your care as well. So emergency plan is important. Well, basically for everyone, yeah. Quickly, we move to the last section of this presentation. It's about tools and resources. And here we go. It's something about the resources available in your locality. And go to the TD Bank of Canada, and they would love to help you, offer you some tips about money management. And the other one is more specifically on bipolar, is what we call the bipolar money. We have a number of articles written in 5 sections that will offer you some quite specific, concrete advice that you may find them helpful. And we also have a story from a woman who is with bipolar and talk about how she spends money quite excessively. But the important thing from this story is also how she ultimately took back control and being able to resume the control, the management of the financial situation. And here we go with another specific material titled Mental Health and Debt 2015. This is a free 44-page PDF booklet. You may find it very helpful. They do have specific advice, case scenarios, and also ways to handle money matters, and some specific tips relevant to people with bipolar disorders. And very much, again, to show you, we have the Bipolar Wellness Center, and the website is there. And also, in particular, if you are wondering about your quality of life while you are thinking about your money, because after all, why we want money? We want money to have a good quality of life, and if on that topic you're unsure, go to this website, which may help you to have some appreciation where you are as far as quality of life, and also get a sense where you may work on to further improve your quality of life. So it's a bit of assessment, but also a bit of increasing self-understanding, self-awareness as well. And this is the last line. I really want to say thank you so much for the support from the Canadian Institutes of Health Research. Without the support, this kind of learning, this kind of sharing would not have been possible. So thank you to Canadian Institutes of Health Research and also the other partners on this slide as well. Hey, thank you so much for your kind attention. I really hope you have learned something from this brief presentation. The key messages are three. One, money matters. We should not underestimate how that may affect our quality of life, affect our mood. The second message is very important to think about it while you and I are in good shape. So proactive approach is important. And then thirdly, as I mentioned earlier, in some cases, they work better if you are able to find a financial or finance support person, just in case when things are going quite badly. So there will be another person to be able to help. Take your time to find a person, someone you can work comfortably with. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Dr. Fee. The question and answer session can now begin. The first question, Samson, is do you have any suggestions if you don't have people who can help you manage your money at risky times? For example, when I'm entering a manic episode.
Right. Thank you, Aaron. It is a very good question. My thinking around that is, as I shared on the video, that the best way to go about it is to have planning, to be aware of the danger or the challenges I may be facing, and then to be able to do something about it when I am in a good shape, when my health status is in good shape. So it's all about sort of being proactive. I think in reality though is I don't want to think about it, but if we did have some unfortunate history of spending excessively or getting into trouble as far as money matter is concerned, then I think it's a very strong signal, hey, maybe we need to do something again sort of proactively. Well, where to turn to, as I mentioned earlier, again, it's important to take time to find a person that you feel comfortable to work with, because that person really has an important sort of control over your life. The question then is, well, but what if I couldn't find a person? My thinking on that is, if you don't have the person, then if you feel comfortable, people may go and sit down and spend time and discuss with people at the bank. We don't have to disclose anything in particular, but look, I'm learning how to manage my finance, my money. I want to put a limit on how much I can withdraw daily. I want to put a limit on how much I can withdraw in one go, for example, within a period of time, maybe a week or something. So I think those are the limitations the bank can work with you and put those limitations on in quite a kind of automatic fashion. So maybe there's a way to go about it. But again, if all possible, to have a person to talk to co-manage the situation will be very, very ideal.
That's a good response, Samson. Thank you. I think it's interesting that you noted that you can use a kind of judicious disclosure approach when dealing with financial situations, right?
Yes, yes.
Which means that, not everybody necessarily wants to disclose their bipolar disorder to everybody, and there are ways around that and of doing it generically.
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
So another question that's come through, this participant says, sometimes it feels like spending money is often linked to my socializing. Can you suggest some ways for me to stay social without spending a lot of money?
Well, you're talking to the wrong person. Yeah, to stay social without spending too much money, that makes me think the whole thing about being able to earn and also being able to accumulate wealth or to have a decent life. I think money is about purposes, what I spend and what I spend. Money is also about a person's identity in terms of what I can afford, what I may not be able to afford at this point of time. And also money, yes, you're right, it has a lot to do with network, socializing. So yes, what I'm thinking is I want to spend my money wisely. I don't want to be just keeping my money or not to spend for the sake of doing it. And also for people with mood, bipolar issues, we want to use money wisely to maintain quality of life, to maintain my wellness. So I think those are the important considerations. Well, how to stay socially active without spending too much? I would say doing sport activities would be good. Group hiking doesn't spend a lot. Instead of going for a full 3-course meals, maybe a coffee catching up is not a bad idea, etc., etc. So yeah, but again, I think my thinking on that one is we spend money for purposes and also to spend money to keep us well. Yeah. So what I'm saying is stop spending may not be a good thing all the time. Yeah.
I'm going to jump to a question that's just come in because it kind of relates to the one that you just addressed, Samson, which was kind of around the idea of identity and money.
Yes.
This person asks, Dr. C, generally people with bipolar disorder have problems with spending too much money. Has there been research on individuals who are so frugal that they jeopardize their own lives in fear of not having enough money in the future?
Absolutely. I am not aware of any sort of clear systematic study solely focusing on this area, but absolutely we are talking about money not only for the present window of time. We are talking about money for future study, for future health problems, and also in some cases even saving up for children for their study, etc., etc. So yeah, in that regard is very important. The other thing is not having enough money. I would say, I mean, given my 20 years living in New Zealand or other parts of the world, for that matter, I will say in reality, sometimes we simply don't have enough. So what it means is, in some cases we may need to, if possible, we may consider we may need to change job, and B, it requires a whole reconfiguration of our budgeting style, if you like. So it's not only people with bipolar. I think sometimes it is affecting everyone. Simply, I just don't have enough, and yeah. So it does require some wise management.
That's a good answer. I think also in the Bipolar Wellness Center there are a few resources that speak to just budgeting and financial management generally that suggest the idea of but making a smaller part of your budget and ring fencing it for treats, and talks to the importance of having some money that's dedicated to something that's just for you, and maybe that would help work against, you know, the idea of being too frugal potentially, to actually make it a line item in your budget.
Yes, yes, that is a very good idea. And then also often we are talking about small treat is good enough. For me, just a small ice cream works very well. Yeah. Mm.
Here's another great question that's come in, Samson. It says, how can I control my impulses to buy something that I may not need immediately? For instance, a book or a tool to start a new business project.
Well, I don't have a magic formula here. I can only say budgeting is a good way to go, meaning to have put aside some money as a kind of petty cash, maybe for a week, and also to be able to monitor. I think it's a good way to do it. Either sort of budgeting on paper, so I have a figure in my head, etc., or literally there is only that much in the account I can use, and if it is gone, it's gone. In my video, I earlier make, well, in fact, it's not an example, it's real life situation. For me, I only have that amount for a month, either for myself or our whole household expenses, and that's it. And I don't use credit card only for sort of bigger item. Otherwise, I use cash or the money card. But the money card has a limit on how much I spend. So to sum it up, controlling impulse, people have their own style and trial. Some work, some works, some doesn't work. But apart from some cognitive way to manage impulse, I think the simple act of limiting how much you can access is not a bad way to go.
That's a good answer, Samson. It made me think as well of the mood webinar, which we were running just recently. And one of the suggestions for impulse control in that webinar spoke to the idea of a 48-hour rule. So if you sleep on it for 2 nights and you find in 48 hours that it still seems like something that you need and that might actually, for example, make a real difference to your business, or it's a book that you still think would be really useful, then maybe reconsidering at that point when you've had a chance to sleep on it for a couple of nights is a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so to another type of question. This one asks, how big of an issue is unhealthy gambling for people with bipolar disorder?
Did you say unhealthy gambling?
Yes. Is there such a thing as healthy gambling? Is that what's running through your head?
Well, I guess what I'm hinting is gambling is such a commonplace now in a lot of countries and places. Well, in fact, I'm not joking. I mean, there is an element of so-called healthy gambling or normal gambling. Some people even call it responsible gambling. Another end of the spectrum is obviously unhealthy gambling, excessive gambling, losing control gambling. Well, gambling excessively and bipolar disorder, there was a major study in the US looking at the whole national health data set, and then the researchers investigate closely focusing on bipolar disorder and also a number of addictions, including smoking, including drinking, and also gambling. And this study published back to 2005, the finding was very alarming. Basically, they are saying half of the people with gambling problems or gambling disorder, maybe we use the term loosely, people with gambling problem, they say half of them have mood problem, In this case, mood could be depression and also could be sort of hypomanic, etc., etc. They look at the lifetime prevalence. In other words, lifetime, if I have gambling problem, and also lifetime I have bipolar, then I will become one of those statistics. And basically, they're saying half of people with gambling problems, they do at the same time have the problem with mood. So in that case, it is quite common. But I think the kind of challenge here is we need to look at longitudinal data to see whether I have mood problem before or after the gambling. And there is one study suggesting in average 70% of people they actually have the mood problem before developing gambling problem. So in other words, I have depression already, I have difficulty controlling my mood, I'm shooting up and down, and 70% of people with this category may also gradually over time develop problem with gambling. So yeah, something we definitely need to be aware.
Thank you for that answer. The next one's about relationships, Samson. The participant asks, relationships between partners are often ended by issues of money. What do you suggest to a partner of somebody who has a partner with bipolar disorder to prevent relationship breakdowns? For instance, would you recommend a finance plan within the household?
Oh, absolutely. Money within a couple relationship is always tricky for obvious reason. But my take on that is also about the whole thing of power and control. Power and control itself obviously is very sensitive. So in other words, for example, if my wife has bipolar, if I sit down and talk to her, without a proper understanding and love and care, the topics can be seen as, look, you're trying to control me, my dear, go away, I don't want to talk to you, etc., etc. So definitely talking, planning, thinking ahead is very, very helpful. But what I'm saying is the context, the mood, how we start the conversation, how we seriously and sincerely show the whole thrust for this conversation is about love and care, and also how we have a happy family, basically, not only for the couple, but maybe for the children as well. So this kind of caveat, if you like, introduction or warm up, if you like, the mood, the candlelight. Talking about the issue over a dinner, for example, casually, maybe a good way leading to the topics to avoid the perception of someone is trying to control, someone is trying to power over a partner. I think it's important. I guess another, I wouldn't say extreme, but a worth consideration in some cases is maybe to have a separate account and also to co-sign. Those may be a good way either for long-term or temporarily, so that we have a immediate handle on the situation. Because I think we know with bipolar, sometimes we lose our impulse very quickly, we use credit card, we are talking about potentially substantial overspending. So we need to put a brake on the situation very effectively and immediately. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good answer, Samson. It made me think as well. I think in your webinar you spoke about, when bipolar disorder first occurs, and that sometimes being in the teen years before people have necessarily developed good
Yes.
money management skills. And it makes me think that if you have an open dialogue around, financial health in your family, and that's something that you talk about over the dinner table, then that might instill some of those skills within younger folks too.
Yes. And Aaron, the discussion here brings me back to another thought, which is, if appropriate, a peer support person may be useful, meaning a person who has been there and done that, a person who has been struggling with financial matter, either as a single person or in a couple relationship. All those things are very helpful, very reassuring. We are not the only strange couple. Yeah, extremely helpful. And that person may have some practical tips even. So yeah, think about it.
Wonderful. Well, I think that's the end of the questions we had to run through. Thank you, everybody who's on the line for those questions, which were wonderful, and for attending our 2015 Bipolar Wellness Center webinar series. And I need to end with a really special thank you to Dr. Samson C. for a wonderful presentation on money and bipolar disorders today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.